those, remember in the 80s, those merry-go-round things where you just spin and spin and spin and somebody, and it was always the older siblings or the older cousins that ran you as fast as they possibly could, and you're like clinging on the inside with all four limbs, hoping you weren't like fly right off, which you always did at some point.
Of course. You walked away with some injuries.
It's like death traps. I know. Honestly, remember those playgrounds? Like my sister, so like a little baby, I think we were at my brother's soccer game when he was probably only 6 or something, 7, maybe 6, and the other siblings are just expected to go play. I was probably put in charge of taking care of my baby sister, and I was probably 5, right? And we were up on now she'll correct me if I've got this wrong, I think I'm right, but it was where they have the fire pole coming down in the middle of a big wooden play structure that two-year-olds shouldn't be on in the first place.
Yep.
But I don't think it had the pole, or even if it did, she probably couldn't reach the pole, and she just toddled right down and fell down the hole. I think she actually might have broke her collarbone or broke something. I'm not sure. I have to check with her, but it was not safe.
No, none of those playgrounds were. None of them. Yeah. Like, I remember going to elementary school, and I think like we had like a big giant tractor tire for a tire swing, and so, like every kid in the school would go on it. One year it broke while everybody was on it and came crashing down, and I was
oh no,
so safe. So safe.
Was it the kind with like the 3 chains?
Yes, and the big giant. Like, yes.
Yeah,
like
and you're
sucker.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there was like 35 of us on this sucker or more. Like, it was just crazy. People standing, people sitting. It was crazy. But
when our kids were growing up, we lived in a small town for a little bit, and the school playground there, of course, the playground equipment was 100 years old. But they had these big, huge tractor tires that were partially buried in the ground, right? So then but you knew for sure drunk teenagers were in there on the weekend, and they like peed in there and stuff because it just smelled awful.
Oh,
like,
yes. Yeah.
Get out of there! Don't touch anything.
No.
You have to bleach your kid.
Oh yes, we had that at down at the campground here in town. There used to be this big giant tractor tire, but it was a sandbox, and it's like what happened?
Every cat in town.
Well, I mean, not just that, but like what else was going on in there? It was the campground, right? Like,
nope.
No,
absolutely
we're good.
Not. Don't touch that.
No. No. Yeah.
And tether balls. Did you ever play tether ball?
Oh yeah, trying to like not get your face taken off because everybody's
when you're not that coordinated, and then you're always there's always somebody who's just like a master at it. I know. That's going like 100 miles an hour, and you're like, calm down. Like
I know. Like that's not a skill that's gonna go anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. But they're like, it's just like a monster at the tether ball, and you're just like, okay, just settle.
I know. Yeah.
You're looking back now, but I'm pretty sure that person peaked right there. That was the extent of their grade 7 athletic prowess.
Yes. Yeah. Tether ball champion.
The bully, the ass who's like,
yeah. So,
yeah,
times.
They peaked in high school for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, those I would be surprised our kids would not last on those playgrounds at all.
No. Oh no. But it makes me think of the like the fair rides, like the when you go to like the little hometown fair.
Yes.
Like not safe. Not safe even now. Not safe even now. There was just a woman in Texas at a Six Flags, a middle-aged woman who just fell off a roller coaster and died. Like this is now 2024.
Yeah.
Let alone 1982 when the scrambler was, if you weren't smart enough until you got older to realize that the heavier person should not be on the outside of the scrambler because you're going to get completely crushed.
We have that every every year we have like a small town fair. It's just, it's whatever. And I used to love to go on rides until one time my friend and we went on it, and it was just the two of us. And it was like one of the, I don't even know what it was called, but it like spun, but each seat, like you would sit in two, but it spun, but like all kind of like crazy.
Yeah.
Well, this carny it was raining, would not let us off. We literally both had whiplash because we were like this the whole time. She was barfing out the side of it, and he was like, yeah, we're good. Keep going. Yeah, we were sick after that. We both had whiplash, and it was like the worst weekend ever.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah. No, I used to go on roller coasters and like the scary rides because my husband peer pressured me. And I didn't want to be one of those people who said no. But I've realized in my old age that I just, like, no. I'm convinced I'm going to be that 0.1% that's going to have a heart attack and die.
Yes.
Like, it's not worth it for me.
Yeah.
They're not fun. It's never been fun.
Nope.
The same thing with, like, the big droppy water slides. No, thank you. I like the lazy river. I like the...
me too.
Snacks in the beach chair. Mm-hmm. That's my jam. But I don't need to see, like, bring death on. Like, no, thank you.
We went to the Bahamas for a family trip. And we went to Atlantis, and they have, like, amazing water slides there. And they had this one where, like, you walked all the way up, and it was, like, in kind of like a structure. Like, and you would, like, go, like, the slide would go inside, and then you would, like... I didn't know what was happening. Yeah. So anyhow, we like walk all the way up to the top, and I'm scared all of a sudden for some reason. I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like the way this is making me feel.
Yeah, it's called self-preservation.
Right?
It's called like human instinct.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But like my oldest goes, my sister goes, my now brother-in-law goes, and I am standing there, and like other people are going too, and then all of a sudden some of my family, they come, my daughter's up there, and I was like, how was it? And they're like, it's not that bad at all. Like it's
liars.
fine.
I already know. Liars.
Oh, yeah. Yes. So I say to the lady who's standing at the top, and she works for Atlantis, I'm like, is it that bad? And she's like, no, it really is. And I said to her, I looked her dead in her face, and I was like, I'm letting you know that if I go down this and it's not fine, I will walk all the way back up here and kick your ass. And she was like, yeah, it's fine. So
it's okay.
So I get on it. And it takes me a second, but I go, no word of a lie. This was like a straight down, and then like it twisted and turned, and it was pitch black. And the whole time I was like, like I couldn't breathe. I was sure that I was catching air. I'm sure that I crapped my pants. And all of a sudden, like you fall through the ceiling of this area and you hit this pool. Well, I get out. And I was like, yep, she knew I wasn't going to walk back up those stairs to say anything to her because I was like shaking and all like totally traumatized. It was the worst. I was like, yeah, we're good. Don't need to do that again.
I don't want to go on any water slide where the term extract your bathing suit ever has to be uttered.
Oh. Well, even they have like I don't know if you've ever seen commercials for Atlantis or what, but they have this amazing lazy river. It is amazing. But there's a part in it that's like rocky rapids. And in it, like every other time I'd gone like 400 times, okay? And I always went with somebody. Well, this time I was like, I'm going to go alone, okay? So I get to the rocky rapid part, and I go, and I instantly tip back, and I fall out of my tube, and I'm like a freaking ping pong ball. I'm like, pew, 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 pew. And all of a sudden, like, one of their lifeguards jumps into the water, and he grabs my arm, and I can stand up. It's like a foot and a half of water. It was more than that, but, like, it wasn't like I was drowning. But I stand up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I blew the ass of my bathing suit out. I'm serious. I was I could feel was skin, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. No, that sucker was wedged so far up that I thought I had ripped it all off. And I was like, had a scratch on my elbow. And I was like, this is bullshit. So after that, I said, I have to go with somebody every time. So I made my sister go with me every time after that. But yeah, I was
my gosh.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I need a surgeon over here.
Yeah. Like I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get out of here? Like my bathing suit's like up around my face, you know, like, yeah, it was like not.
You're beyond hope. No, there's no helping you now.
It was so, and then I was crying because I was so like, oh my God, I almost died, you know, like.
Yeah, could you draw any more attention to yourself?
Yeah, pretty much. And of course my sister-in-law had gone by on the tube too, and she was like, Ricki fell off. Yeah.
Classic Ricki.
I know. But what's crazy is my stepmom was there too, and she had fallen off at the beginning when we all were going, and she had fallen off. So we have a picture of us. We both had cut up elbows on the same elbow. We both almost died that day.
Oh, I've been on water slides where the seam between the, like, where, you know, the slide is put together, and like the seam, as you're like hurtling at top speed around, it's taking skin off your hips as you're like.
I know, it's terrible. I know. We went on a double tube ride, and I went with Cleary, my oldest, and I had her sitting in the front of me, and so it was a double tube, and like it pulls you all the way, right, until it's the start time. And we start going, and I'm like, and I'm like almost ripping the handles off the tube because I'm like, we're going to die. But my ass keeps hitting the slide, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is going to be so bad. And Clary's like, you're no fun. You're ruining this. This sucks. And I was like, we're going to die. Like, this is unbelievable. And we get to the end, and she's like, I'm never going on a ride with you again. And it's like, don't worry, because I'm not doing it again either. Like, it's just.
There's not one of my kids I would trust if they said it's fine. Not one of them. And I certainly don't trust my husband at all. Like, yeah, not at all. I was on a roller coaster with him once because when I was younger, of course, I was a bit more of a pleaser. So he's asking me to go on this roller coaster, and I'm on there, and I do this. I think there's a picture of me because I just try to zone out. I'm not going to look at anything. I'm just going to like try to not die. That's it. But this roller coaster, it was terrifying. It was flippy. It was like the big drops. It's the big. I'm okay up and down, not the big drops though. No. And there's these two little punks behind us. They're like 12 years old. Are you okay, lady? Hey, lady, are you okay? And they're totally mocking me. They're not concerned in any way.
No.
And Trevor's over here laughing his ass off because he thinks it's so funny. And it stayed 20 years later. He'll be like, are you okay, lady? Are you okay? It's like I want to punch him.
Right? Yeah, like
there's no domestic violence allowed in this podcast. So I don't really mean that I would
Well, you know, there are some situations that, you know.
No Trevors were harmed in the making of this podcast.
Yeah, it sometimes those rides though, like it just like you think that you're fine, and then all of a sudden like you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm not fine. Like I'm not okay. I went on the freaking boat
I've convinced myself, but now I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I went on the boat one, and I was like, this is not okay. Like my thing is broken. I'm bracing myself with my leg because I'm
tying
like,
up your
I was like holding on to my sister, and I'm like, we're going to die. And she's like, stop it. And I was like, I can't. Like, it's just my thing is broken, you know?
Yeah.
So,
well, statistically speaking, people die. So,
yes.
You know, I don't want to be one of them.
So needless to say, I don't go down water slides or go on any more rides. So
yeah, all that to say, people, we're not fun. Don't send us amusement park passes for swag or gifts. No, thank you. We don't want to go.
No.
We'll go and have the snacks. We'll be in the food court.
Absolutely.
Safely. Yeah.
Right?
Safely.
Yeah.
But, like, no offense to carnies because I'm sure they're nice people.
Yeah.
But what's the job criteria? I mean, what's the type of resume that someone needs to submit or the type of training that someone needs to have to operate those kinds of rides or that kind of machinery? Do you think there's criteria? There absolutely wasn't in the 70s and 80s.
No, I'm suspect to believe that like the rules are probably the same. You know, if you show up to work and you can hit that button and let the timer stop it, I think that, you know, if you can pass that test, you're good to go.
Yeah.
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 I mean, I don't know.
I've met a lot of people, and I don't know that I'd want most of them in charge of even that button.
No.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna throw anything out there, but
I think we've already thrown it out there.
Yeah, I think, we'll just move on. It's fine. I mean, I can see the appeal to it, like traveling and like, if you want to get away from the life that you're at and you just, like I can understand for some people the appeal.
Sure. I mean, I'm an adventurer, so
Mm-hmm.
so I can see a life on the road, but
yeah, but no, we're good.
That's different. That's different. I think it's a different kind of person who does that
Like
kind of work.
I wouldn't let my daughter, date Carney. But that's just
well, now
me.
that you say it, that's who she's going to be looking for. Because
no.
who let her date. Oh gosh.
Yeah, no. No. Actually,
I think the 80s were not so safe.
No. But I mean, like,
terms
do you
of
remember
activities.
watching that? No, but do you remember watching like the roller coaster ride on National Lampoon's, where they go to like Wally World or whatever? Like you watch? Have you watched that?
No, because I didn't know. I didn't like those kind of movies. I don't know.
Oh, okay. In it, they go on this roller coaster, and I look at it and I'm like, like, was anything holding you into that? Like, it looked so unsafe. Like, so I could only imagine, because I mean, back in the day, you didn't have to wear your seatbelt either. So could you imagine what those rides were like?
Oh
like
my gosh.
No.
Yeah, and yet, as kids, we thought nothing of jumping on a horse and galloping down the pasture. Right, for city kids, they would have thought that was super dangerous and stupid, and it probably was. But we didn't think twice about it. Yeah, but sure, let's go hook up the team of mules that Grandpa has just because it looks fun. We saw him do it once, so it should be easy. Let's try. Like, what?
Right?